sasquatch, yahoo, phantom of the forest, you spear finger, fire dragon, Ohio grassman, silver giant, bloodless howler, West Virginia vampire, coyote king, hogzilla, devil, dark coyote killer. Cave creature, mothman, smoke wolf, a lizard, demon, ashman, grafton monster, cow-killing bastard, shadow creature, dustman, Cherokee, death cat, wild man, great fire ape. What else do I have to say? Steal yourself some chicken wire, and I'll get some lumber. Catch the Thunder Brothers. Don't you dare get out of the golf cart. We can keep our big seats while we hunt the Bigfeets. Snarly Gasterote, Red Island Bear Beast, Silver Giant, Squalling Savage, Black Wolf was kind of average, Stone Giant, Raven Mocker, Midnight Whistler, Wampus Beast, Wawa Woman, Ohio Grassman again. Technically Huckleberry Wolfman or Wolf County, need to find the X again if we hunt the Lightning Man. Webster's Werewolf, Daily Howl, Kentucky Hellhound, Little Girl, Headless Horror, I can't take it anymore. Steal yourself some chicken wire, and I'll get some lumber. Catch the Thunder Brothers. Don't you dare get out of the golf cart. We can keep our big seats while we hunt the Bigfeets.
This here's Bigfeets, the only Mountain Monsters Watch-Along podcast. I'm Robert Brockway. Wait a minute. How did I know my real name?
And I'm Sean Baby. He nodded, his bloodshot eyes betraying his own fatigue. You're wearing a wig. He seemed more disgusted than surprised. That official disguise kit you sent me is shit, I complained. The hair dye runs and the lifts. Come on, I'm already 6 inches taller than most of the world. Well, at least invest in a good hairpiece next time. I've got my own hairpiece attached to my head. It's real. Then invest in a good haircut, the old man ordered.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin.
I have so many questions.
What's the name of the book you're reading those from for the people who cannot see the cover and don't know what you're doing for every...
This is called The Secret Man by Frank Dukes.
And that book's still in print, right? Like surely they can get a copy.
There's no way. He confesses to so many extrajudicial murders in this book that if it was real, he would be in jail.
That's one of those that are just like, they're $3,000 if you can find a copy on Amazon. There's some insane reseller that's like, I know what I have. Nobody wants this, but one guy, you're going to pay. You're going to fucking pay for it.
I probably did $300 worth of damage to that book just now, just from reading it.
He has like a mysterious karate hairpiece.
He's a spy, and so a lot of his spy stuff is like what he thinks spies do, which is where
I always forget he thinks
super
he's a
cool
spy
wigs.
Also. He's a karate spy.
He's a karate spy.
Internationally renowned karate champion / spy.
Right.
Gotcha.
And his boss supplies him with very bad wigs, and they have arguments about the wigs.
And you could be forgiven for not knowing that this is a Mountain Monsters Watch-Along podcast.
Oh, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, it's not about Frank Dukes, even though it really should be. Before we get into what is going to be, I want to say, a 7-hour episode, do we have anything to plug? Jason?
Brand new book came out this week. The title is I'm Starting to Worry About This Black Box of Doom. We did a surprise drop. Did not want to do a lot of promo because I told the publisher I'm not interested in that aspect of it. I just want to do the writing, put the book out there, let it sell itself. A lot of you are hearing about this for the first time. It should be up in all formats.
How about you, Sean?
New website just dropped, 1-900hotdog.com. We are a all-star comedy website featuring writers you might know from Cracked or Bunny Ears or around the web. Go to patreon.com/1900hotdog for this brand new and exciting opportunity to read jokes.
And I'll plug this podcast. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Good job. All right. We got to get right into it. If you're not familiar with what Mountain Monsters is, this is not the time to get started. Or maybe it's the perfect time to get started because we're throwing everything into the garbage. This is a different show now.
This show is reinventing itself again.
It's like maybe you need context to know that this used to be about Bigfoot, because it is not anymore. It used to be a Hillbilly X-Files cryptid monster hunting show, like those ghost hunter shows where they go into an old mausoleum or something and pretend to be scared of noises that aren't really there. Only this time they find Bigfoot every single time and punch him right in the goddamn face. We're not really doing that anymore. Our cast is the same. Our cast is Buck. He was once a rookie. He was a really funny caller. I think it's some of his best comedy is every time he pulls it a little like duck whistle or something. He's now the de facto.
The one time?
It was twice, and it made me laugh really hard both times.
Yeah, you're right. It was funny.
He's now the leader. Huckleberry is Bigfoot security, and he's started taking that real serious. That we used to joke about what that could possibly mean. We understand now.
He's playing Sicario. He's got 9 assault rifles, and he is ready for action. He's
fucking John Wick in it. Jeff is our hillbilly research scientist. Not really anymore. He's a dirty, naughty little pee-pee boy. He likes to smell and taste the pee-pee. Willie is still sort of our trapper. We have not used his traps in so long, and my God, what we're going to do to him is really funny. Wild Bill is our tracker. He has never been that. He's comic relief. He's maybe their greatest secret weapon. We don't know. And this episode is also featuring the guest talents of Trapper himself, who has not been on here in a long time, but will start showing up a little bit.
Now, this is a 2-part season finale. It was the season finale of season 4 in the original airing. It is the season finale of season 2 in the HBO Max order, even though that may not be apparent because in the HBO Max listing, there are 3 more episodes after this. They are clip shows. All the good shows.
To be clear, is also a clip show.
They believe in, taking care of the environment. There's a lot of recycling going on. But that's important. This is what you're watching is a 2-part season finale spectacular. These boys pull out all the stops for their season finales, even though, again, they did slap together a couple of clip shows after this.
That's the way to end the whole season, though, on the HBO Max order, which we go off of, is thrilling cliffhanger that changes everything, and then several hours of clip shows. Real quick, we're going to do the clip show episodes, right?
Absolutely.
There's no new material. They're not hosting them or anything. It's just patched together of crap they've stuck together.
I still want to do them. I mean, this is we'll go into my mountain monsters bunker that I keep, and we'll all sit around and put our heads together and figure out how we're going to handle those. But yeah, this is season 2, episode 18, according to the HBO Max order. And here's a dire note. They pulled season 1 from HBO Max. You can no longer watch season 1 on HBO Max, which, because of the way they combined seasons, is like the first 3 seasons of Mountain Monsters are gone off of HBO Max. It's
the world's
really
just a little worse every day.
Yeah.
I wonder now if I go looking it up, if it's going to turn out that those were never actually filmed and that everyone listening to this podcast who was saying this is not a real show, that they were right, that no one else could see those except for us.
By the time we finish this podcast, the way the media sphere works these days, it's very possible no one will ever believe us. Like it will just, especially because it's technically a Warner Brothers property now, and they've been just erasing their shit from scorching it off the face of the earth. It's very possible this show will not exist, and we will have effectively made up this entire thing. In which case, I am going to submit us for whatever a podcast Oscar is, because that would be incredible to make up all of this and through the veil of commentary on it. But yeah,
I know we've talked about this off the show, but so much of this, if we had just made it up, it wouldn't be funny. Like the running bit where one of their guys has to routinely leave in the middle of a Bigfoot hunt to go do his day job. If that's something we just made up, that wouldn't even really be a joke. It's the fact that it really happens.
Yeah.
That makes it so magical.
It's how devoted we are to the bit of making this up that really sells it. But yeah, the season 1 so many episodes, like fucking 30 episodes or whatever it was, are gone from there. And usually what that means is that like a high profile bidder from another network got a hold of it. Like Amazon is like, no, we need to put this shit on Prime. We're going to pay you, even though you, Warner Brothers, own the rights to it and you have your own streaming service, we're going to pay you so much fucking money. You're going to give it to us for a little bit. And that's going to, but that clearly didn't happen. I don't have to explain why. Nobody's buying the rights to this.
No. To be clear, HBO Max no one there knows they accidentally erased the first season of Mountain
There's
Monsters.
No way.
We're the only people who've noticed it's even gone. Somebody just deleted a row off of a script somewhere and it accidentally
burned all the files. From the They're universe. Just gone. They're gone forever. Never coming back. So watch what you can while you can. That's all I'm saying.
Hold your loved ones. The world is burning.
So this episode is called Return of the Rogue Team. If you've been watching along every episode, you, of course, don't remember what that is because they forgot about that like 2 fucking years ago. They were like, you gotta watch out for a rogue team. Now we're gonna go mind our business for 2 solid years, and then they're gonna come back to it. Because they decided to go dedicate the entire show to Bigfoot and Bigfoot alone until they got so goddamn sick of Bigfoot that the last episode, they just fucking petered out. They were like, nope, this fucking sucks. We're not doing Bigfoot anymore. What else do we have? Right, the rogue team stuff that we were gonna do and just never followed up on. We're back to that. We're back to a rival team of Bigfoot apparently hunters or trappers or maybe just spies, Bigfoot spies, who knows, are out there like fucking with them.
A team of guys who, according to the canon of the show, have a Bigfoot carcass in their possession. They killed the Stonish giant, put it on a flatbed truck and hauled it out of the woods. So these 4 guys, whoever they are, should not be mysterious by this point. They should be world famous by this point. Their names should be known in China and in Japan. They should be touring the world with their stuffed Bigfoot. And every scientist, because think about it, every expert in the world has to apologize to the Bigfoot weirdos. Like, hey, we laughed at you. You were right. There you go. You brought us not only a Sasquatch, one that used mud as armor, a fascinating thing we had not observed in any creatures. Now, why you felt the need to shoot it dead instead of bringing an alive Sasquatch, which would have been even more interesting, but still, their names would be in history
surgery
books.
On itself. That's
right.
It's unheard of.
We
found the stick it used to perform bullet surgery on itself.
So Rogue Team is back.
I think they're men in black. I think they're covering Bigfoot up. I think they went on the Bigfoot TV show and killed a Bigfoot to cover up his existence, and that's why they're not famous.
That's great. That's a great dynamic.
It's my theory. And then they turned this poor team of Bigfoot hunters into like 4 idiots in an escape room. I'm getting way ahead of it. But
the only reason I don't believe your theory is that I feel like it gives them an excuse to lose. They're like, okay, well, a masterful force is taking all of the Bigfeet and covering them up. They would never think of that. Or if they did, it wouldn't jive with their humiliation fetish because they are just... They gotta get cucked. They gotta get cucked every week by Bigfoot or something.
But the thing is, it makes so much sense in this universe where this team cannot get out of their truck without being completely swarmed by a gang of 15 Bigfeet. A group of guys who's dedicated to hiding Bigfoot from the world, they would have an enormous task in this universe. They're everywhere. You would have to have a whole process for like incinerating the corpses.
It's like the Shawnee in the 1700s all over again. It's just, we haven't seen this.
We've not even gotten to the truck briefing, by the way. Okay. Jesus Christ.
We're talking about the Rogue Team, but they try to trick us into thinking this is a Bigfoot show at this point. They're like, we're going to go out there and get that Grassman.
Yeah. So they say they're going after the Grassman again. This will be the third, fourth time they go after
It'd
the
be the
Grassman?
fourth episode for the
Fourth
Grassman.
episode,
Yeah,
yeah.
he has appeared in one episode, the second episode they ever did, and then he came back for that season finale, the two-parter with with Wild Bill's Uncle Leroy and all that. And it's great because they mention him. And in the course of the truck briefing, they run through this montage of all their past failures with the Grassman, including Buck being knocked down by the door and they're smashing their trap. It's just this slapstick
hospitalized by a
barrage
foam
of
core
failure.
door.
It's the way, especially like when you were watching the episode as it unfolds, it was still funny, but you saw like the Ames team running through the barn, coming around, you saw them going through the door and like surely Bigfoot being driven through the door. And then you saw like Buck coming up from the other side and you put together what happens. But the way they cut just like the scene where it's just the door opens onto Buck's head, it looks like fucking Kramer got him. It looks like Bigfoot Kramered out of that barn, nailed it, like just played for laughs. They show us again that he exploded out of Uncle Leroy's party van.
Yeah, love that.
Imagine if you had not seen the show before and you're like, I'm going to watch this Bigfoot show. And then you see just the recap of like, he exploded out of my Uncle Leroy's party van. You're like, Bigfoot did?
And they
Bigfoot
explain
did
the last time they needed the help of the local moonshiners because they had made a deal to give Bigfoot some alcohol in exchange for leaving them alone. And they had disrupted their corn mash operation because it was so addicted to it that it had to come get their mash.
Oh, I forgot Bigfoot's an alcoholic now. That's why he was pulling the Kramer door pranks. Just a drunken mess. Buck does one of my favorite things where he makes themselves look like bigger assholes than they had to. He says, the sightings never stopped since we were there last time. He only became more bold and aggressive. It's only a matter of time until somebody gets hurt. So you probably shouldn't have left for like a year and a half then.
Yeah.
But also, though, it sets the stakes so well because this time they absolutely cannot abandon the Grassman hunt. Like, he's established he is more dangerous now than he was then. So the one thing they cannot do is abandon the Grassman hunt literally while they're still in the truck. Just minutes from now. I'm watching the episode in real time. I don't know what's coming, but...
We'll see.
Because the way they left it, he grenade jumped out of Leroy's van and like infuriated by that, and then they're just like, "Sorry, we're out to prove Bigfoot exists in these Appalachian mountains." Bye.
That one's
So
too
he's
drunk
furious.
to catch. He's just
Yeah.
you never know what he's gonna do next. You can't track a drunk Bigfoot. Everyone knows that. Gotta wait until he sobers up.
Because Huckleberry points out that the Moonshiners helped them. They only helped them last time because the Ames team was going to help them with this Bigfoot problem. And then they very much didn't. Like, even in their wildest imaginations, they didn't. Like, they keep saying, he's still here, and pissed off about the van thing we did.
And now the Moonshiners are pissed off because we broke our deal with them. They're like,
Right.
first Bigfoot
Yes.
betrayed them, then we betrayed them. They're never going to trust again.
But also, I wanted to point out that Bigfoot only has one confirmed knockout in 400 years. Like you mentioned that he's getting bolder, he will attack someone, but the only person that we can verify is Buck.
Well, that counts. He got bolder. He attacked Buck.
That's true. He got bolder.
He's more aggressive than he's ever been. He opened a door onto Buck. So they do a great thing here where they cut out of the briefing and then they come back to the briefing with the Chiron 20 minutes later. And
Right.
Huckleberry's
That was
still
weird.
just like, all the music is gone and Huckleberry is still talking about the Bigfoot. Inadvertently, it looks like they've been saying Huckleberry just fucking would not shut up about this Bigfoot. That's not what they're trying to do, but it's a very funny joke they accidentally set up.
It looks like a real sundowning moment because he's repeating information that they already went over 20 minutes earlier. Like,
and he's also doing that
Paul
thing where he's
Huckleberry.
like, well, if this Bigfoot, if he, 10 foot tall, 1,000 pounds, if he got a running start and ran into you, because that Huckleberry thing where he thinks these things attack just by
ramming.
like
Yeah,
hitting you like a
mashing.
linebacker.
It's just the mass behind it.
those are
But
real
Buck and-
stats, by the way. Jason's 1,000 pounds. This is a triple shacker. This is the whole 2004 LA Lakers in one Bigfoot.
10 feet tall, 1,000 pounds, more dangerous than ever, drunk as shit. God, this is the most dangerous thing that's ever happened to the United States of America. Hold on. Buck says they're being followed. Somebody's following them as they ramble about Bigfoot. He radios Cole, their producer, and Cole says, totally unsurprised, "Are you sure?" Just not, "What? Somebody's following you?" Like, he's totally ready for this moment to happen. Like, I always knew when I signed up, this Bigfoot show could only end one way, and that was with you guys being gunned down in the fucking street. Just like
Well, there's
the
not
last
for
one.
1 second where it's like, well, is it a fan? Is it somebody trying to return your wallet from the 7-Eleven we stopped at? Like, are they flagging you down because you've got a flat tire? Like, let's stop and ask them. It's like, no, I'm going to try to create a smoke screen out of dirt.
And he does. He tries to
This
kick
car
up a
chase-
smoke screen on a gravel
They've
road.
done a lot of dumb shit on the show. I'm not sure I've ever seen anything quite this dumb where, driving down a dirt road and hoping that it causes enough dust to lose the car behind you. I feel like everyone who's ever been on a road knows that you could just stay on the same road and there's just no losing someone on a straight line. I don't even know why I'm pointing this out. I'm just very frustrated by it.
Well, they do pull off. They pull off, they make a smoke screen, and then they say they pull off to an old abandoned farm. But then they make the mistake of showing us the farm, and it's like brand new cars parked in the driveway.
Yes, so many brand new cars.
It's spotless siding, like freshly applied. It's nice little. It's just somebody's house, and then they pan back and show you the road. Like, we're gonna watch them drive by. It's the most gentle, like gravel packed road.
Yep.
They're just in a suburb. This is somebody's. This is
in
like
the
a rural suburb.
I worry we're already. I'm sorry to slow us down. We're on like stage 3 of the plan. First part of the plan was Buck was, quote, "I'm going to pull off on a road where they won't have an opportunity to pull off." So that was plan A, was to just leave the road and hope maybe they'll stop following them. I genuinely didn't know what it meant. I just wanted to point out it started stupid and it only got stupider. If you put a 5-year-old in this situation, they wouldn't say anything this stupid. His plans are driving and driving and driving, and hoping the universe through unknown means just like turns those actions into some sort of super spy escape.
Because
it does,
listeners,
though.
we have no exterior shots of this chase. It's all just that truck briefing camera angle. So they're having to describe what they're doing from inside the truck. You never see it outside. So it's just this thing where they're having to like narrate the amazing thing they're doing.
Right. And they cut to the only thing they have is like Buck and Jeff's faces. And Jeff plays the scene like he's falling asleep in front of Wheel of Fortune. Like he's just bored as shit of this car chase.
He might not realize it's happening. Like,
the
he's communication is not super
and
clear.
trying not to come.
So Buck's over there.
We can
I'm
cut
doing
that.
a barrel
We can cut
roll
that,
now,
Jimmy.
Jeff. Jeff's like, no, you're not. So they pull off into somebody's driveway, and this car drives past them, and they know now, like, okay, we're definitely being followed. Somebody's trying to get us. We should probably still go on the Bigfoot hunt, right?
Buck was worried he was going to tip. They're going 15 on a road. Made a 30-degree turn.
Well, it's Buck. I mean, he's probably got a solid foundation of concern there. So they decide they're still gonna go after Bigfoot. They go meet up with their first witness, who is a farmer, named Radish, like a Pokemon character.
I feel like you're still skipping a lot of funny stuff because
Go ahead.
When the car drove by, they decided to duck down, but they all have the anatomy of a ham, so they can't like cower under the window. So their idea of hiding is just like kind of shrinking into their own neck. It's so
And
fucking
they
funny.
used the TV show cameras to like get a shot of the villain SUVs with the tinted windows going by as if they're driving back and forth. Like, where did they go? And when they took the one turn off the
You can plainly see it.
right there.
Right, and
plainly see
they're
it.
still visible in the window, and like
Yeah,
they're driving by
obviously,
like
you
that.
can see
That's
them,
not them,
they
boys.
can see
We were
you.
following 3 men in the same make and model, but they were sitting up straighter. It can't possibly be the same team.
They also say we got a crew with us, so like when they pulled off, I'm assuming the rest of their crew did, because like Cole comes up pretty quickly and comes to talk to them. So there's like 5 production trucks in this farm, and the villains are like, it's probably not the same production team. We're looking for a different production team out here in the woods.
And also, they're spinning it like it's a victory. Like when they saw the truck go by, they're like, "Oh, we got him! We got him now." We see that they're in a black truck with. They didn't get the license plate. They didn't see a human. It's.
Well, they filmed him. All right, can we get back to Radish? Can we get back to Radish?
Fine.
Radish, I'm assuming radish farmer.
Oh, I thought it's because he had like a ginger beard and they were saying he like looked like a radish or
I'm
something.
certain that's probably it. Also, he's got a really bad sunburn. He should not be out there. Otherwise, he's pretty young. He's pretty gym buff. I would not say he's the farmer, and he is bringing back the headgear game. He's got a black paisley bandana, like a goth hippie, with Oakleys on top. He's got my exact beard, but when I'm depressed, like I haven't cut it in a long time and I don't want to manage it anymore. And plus, the best part, he's doing an accent. He's doing a terrible accent. He sounds like
this guy
sounds like a
super
bad Gambit.
normie. Yeah, he's like this guy's faking his countryness. Like I don't doubt that he has been on a farm. I'm just saying like he kind of looks like a hipster. So he's like "I seen me a Bigfoot, sir." It sounds like he's reading the Google Translate results for like, "Yes, I saw a Bigfoot."
It's because they're doing an acting scene here and they needed an actor. So they cast this part because they've got this little bit they're going to do. Would not seem like it would require a professional actor to pull it off, but.
And did not. Absolutely. He's doing like Steven Seagal quality accents. Like Steven Seagal does every minority in those movies. Like if you told Steven Seagal like hillbillies are a protected ethnic minority, you're gonna play one. This would be the accent. He says, "I knew something weren't right. I noticed them cows was all backed up. I headed up the holler with the scattergun here to see what all the fuss was." And
that sound about it right there.
Bad
Huckleberry punched that up later. Huckleberry took the cows cowering away from the Bigfoot to be like protecting their young and like this dynasty, like a Brachiosaurus circle of battle protection.
Yeah,
I thought that's a good punch up.
Yeah, everyone knows cows do that. So he says that something disturbed his cows, but more important, it was something that was also disturbing his compost pile, like he told them when he called them 2 weeks ago. To which Buck says.
Hold on. Because, again, we're in the middle of a story about this dangerous 10-foot tall Bigfoot terrorizing the countryside. And they're like, did he kill any chickens? And the guy's like, "Nah, man. Let me tell you what it did, though. It disturbed my compost pile." Which sounds sarcastic. Like, "Oh, did your compost pile get knocked over?" Because that's what Buck says back to him. He's like, "Oh, wow, your compost pile got knocked over." I would have punched him in the face. I'm like, "No fucking make fun of me, dude. Bigfoot was messing in my compost."
Okay, here's what's happening. They don't script this conversation, obviously. They know that they have to get to the plot point that they're getting to here, which is that the guy thinks he talked to Buck on the phone, but didn't. They have a cue where it's like, when we talk about the compost, that's when I want you to bring up the thing with talking to me on the phone. So you've got this weird thing where the guy's like, "Well, and it disturbed my compost." And then Buck says, "So your compost pile got pretty disturbed." And the guy's like, "Yes, like I said to you on the phone 2 weeks ago." And the Buck's like, "What?" They then cut to an ad break because of the suspense of this moment. Cut back to, "So your compost pile got pretty disturbed."
Right. Like, we fought the alien from Aliens. We're not here to fucking check on compost piles. Like, let's take it from the top. Your fucking 11 of your gosh darn bulls got torn apart by the godless shack hands of this unspeakable monster. Compost pile. The fuck out of here with that.
So they really fucked up your compost, didn't they? They fucked up. They completely fucked up my fucking compost. They fucked up. Did you hear how bad they fucked up his compost?
I had to go kick it back into a pile again. It took 40, 50 seconds for me to...
Some of the worms fell out. Like that. They're traumatized. I'm going to have to get new worms, man. They're never going to work again.
I know, listeners, it seems like we're dwelling on the compost pile thing for a while. Not as long as they did. This goes on for a long time.
But all of this is to say somebody else called Radish. Can't even say.
I did take down the exact quote. Just for the record, Radish says, "But I have had our compost disturbed one time." And then Buck says, "So your compost pile, what? It got pretty disturbed." And then Radish says, "Yeah, like I said, when I talked to you on the phone a couple weeks ago, the compost pile was disturbed." I fucking wrote it down because that's fascinating.
But Buck says, I never talked to him. Like, I've never talked to you. And Jeff, he says, did you talk to him, Jeff? Jeff never talked to him. Maybe you talked to Trapper. No.
Jeff said he'd remember. 'Cause Jeff's a pee-pee boy. He'd remember discussion about compost. That's the pee-pee of garbage.
So Radish says, no, the guy said, he specifically said, his name was Buck. Dun, dun, dun. Somebody stealing Buck's identity.
There's probably $35 per square mile in that part of the country. If I had to guess.
I cannot emphasize enough that in this TV show about a group of men hunting a monster that is 10 feet tall and weighs 1,000 pounds, the inciting incident of their adventure is a 25-minute long conversation over whether or not we did a phone call 2 weeks ago, or if you spoke to someone else, or if we merely forgot, or if if it was an email. Or Jeff, did you email him? Or could maybe you talk to Jeff? No, I didn't talk to him. The guy said his name was Buck. Is it possible you misheard? No, he said he was Buck. I never called you, sir. Are you sure? That sounds very strange, sir. I am not calling you a liar. I'm saying that, and it goes on and on and on. This telephone drama, and I'm just imagining the Grassman or whatever, just standing in the woods 50 feet away, a bull in its mouth, just blood, just watching them have this argument over, well, maybe you talk to my assistant. Is that possible? Maybe you left a voicemail. Is it?
All of this is Ari, a compost pile. Like, I'm picturing a 500 email thread of just like, the compost pile has been disturbed. Ari.
Compost pile disturbance.
I loved how long it took for them to figure it out. Because, I mean, they're supposed to be idiots, but like, these are guys who probably get taken in by a Facebook scam every few hours. And they just got hoodwinked by a team of Bigfoot poachers, totally separate from this rival team they're dealing with tonight. And it never occurs to them for almost 10 minutes that like, oh, these are those other guys fucking with us.
Do you think, because the last episode featured like a team of poachers outwitting them, that they were like, after they made that episode, somebody was like, we got to do something different here? What? Why was that familiar? The poacher thing? Didn't we?
Right.
We did something with poachers, right?
Maybe
Let's
that's
do
what
that.
they're thinking. Is like, we would never do the same thing again. Like, obviously, we're fighting a whole new monster this episode.
It must have just reminded them that they've already had the rogue team. Like, they must have been like, oh yeah. And, you know, like the Bigfoot cemetery, we had that too. Like, shit, we could do it. Anyway, so we've established the compost pile has been disturbed, and it was not Buck on the phone after a lot of difficulty.
Kind of mad at Radish about this too. Like, I wrote down it's not Radish's job to keep track of all the Bigfoot teams. Like, like, don't get mad at him for this.
I like the implication that there's like, because he called somebody proposing to be, he called them to be like Buck. So they They had fake flyers out there being like, got Bigfoot problems?
I guess.
Call Buck. I'll Buck at the Ames team. So they decide they're going to come back here at night again with Radish's permission. Farm consent has become very important.
I feel like most people agree you don't give these guys permission to go on your property. Like, if they show up and it's the wrong Bigfoot team, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you're trying to steal business from the Bigfoot team that I have already talked to? That's unethical, sir. That's bad business practice.
Absolutely not.
So Buck says, this is clearly the rogue team we're dealing with here. The ones that murdered the Stonish Giant, stole the Bigfoot body. And now, not only that, this team knows all of our info first. And they knew that we were going to be at this exact location at this exact time today. The only reason they're not here on top of us, just pounding away, is because we lost them with our thrilling car chase.
Yeah, that smokescreen.
They talked to this guy first, Buck. They know the address.
Yeah, they know exactly where you went.
You just said they know where you are.
They didn't need to follow you.
they
know where you're going.
Didn't have to.
They could have just waited for
this guy.
So Buck is like, God, how they know so much about the Ames team already? How could they possibly know this? It's a TV show. Like, we've established in the universe.
We're going to get into that because they are in this episode going to try to make us forget that they've already established that the show Mountain Monsters exists in the show Mountain Monsters. Like that the cameras are a camera crew. That this is the new thing they started doing. It's like, no. We acknowledge we've got a crew with us. We've got witnesses we talk to who say, yeah, I've seen your show. In this two-part finale depends entirely on the show Mountain Monsters not existing.
Yes.
But then who's Colt Straub? Because a guy with that name just following you around, if he's not your producer, who?
Yeah.
Cool. It's amazing that they have established many times. The show is not only... They can't even do the documentary thing where like we're making a documentary. It's not out yet. So like we're interviewing all of these people. There's a TV show. They won't know this information yet. It hasn't been aired yet. They've said like, no, the show is out there. People are fans. Like why wouldn't this be a fan? Why, how would they know all of this information? Well, they watched last season. You could find them. There's only like 42 people. Just ask for the Nielsen ratings for the names. And you can track them down. Anyway, it's all this espionage, like every moment counts while they've got this temporary lead from losing them in a thrilling car chase. So we better come back here in a couple hours when it's dark.
Oh my God.
Word for word says
so
that.
much. Pointlessly. They're just like, we got to search this area. Let's go somewhere, just kill a couple of hours, wait till it's dark.
Because we certainly can't come back until it's nighttime.
So they go kill a couple hours to let them catch up, I guess. So the night investigation, Willie and Wild Bill are coming out on the night investigation. So you know shit's going south real fast. Like if they're on the investigation team, somebody's getting shot. Huckleberry says, tonight's investigation could well be dangerous. We got a 1,000-pound Bigfoot out here who's handed our ass to us twice in a row. Plus, we got somebody out here following us. Yeah, we might be in danger.
Yeah, might be.
It could be dangerous.
So it's good to bring the two members that like aren't lumbering water balloons. There's no nice way to put it, but Willie and Bill are good to have around if you have to have a fight.
So they set out tracking the Grassman, and Buck first finds the trail, and Wild Bill does something completely fucking crazy here, even for Wild Bill. He does some tracking. It's light tracking. He just says like, that bush looks pretty beat down, don't it? But that's the first time he's ever tracked anything. And in the credits to this show, they still say Wild Bill Tracker. Never even tried it before.
It's expert tracker. Is that not his title?
Yeah, expert tracker. And his expert tracking is that bush looks real beat down. Buck still finds it first. He didn't find it. But it's the first time he's even attempted. So
you just don't get that from remedial trackers.
So Buck finds an arch. Good. So I guess now we've decided all bent branches are Bigfoot sign, all crossed branches are Bigfoot sign, and all broken branches are Bigfoot sign.
Depending on where it's broken. If it's broken low, that's a human. If it's broken high, that's a Bigfoot.
Right, because big feet hover 5 feet off the ground at all times. If it's a low broken stick, that's person sign.
That's not a Bigfoot knee.
I just like all of the things that branches can do. They can exist, they can bend, and they can fall or cross each other. You've decided that all of those things
are
Bigfoot sign. Branches exist, there's a Bigfoot around. So they're sitting there studying this Bigfoot sign when Jeff says he heard a grunt. Actually, Jeff says this. He says, I heard a grunt like this. And then he goes, double up.
I have that in my notes too. Not the exact Sir Mix-a-Lot lyrics, but
he doubles it up. He does it to the cadence.
Yeah.
He goes, You're like, yeah, get it, Jeff. He says, I've got nothing on thermal. And Buck says, that's weird. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Then they hear a whistle, which they decide probably came from low to the ground, and that could be who's following them. So it's a good thing Huckleberry is once again carrying his fucking, what was it, Jason? It was an assault shotgun?
Yeah, it's a magazine-fed tactical shotgun with holographic sights. It's like a military-style shotgun, not a hunting weapon is the point we're making here. It's
just gonna blow like a squadron of guys in half. Like it's It's such overkill. Like, but now they think somebody might be following us. That's all the information we have. Huckleberry, get ready to incinerate their carcass. Just blow it to the fucking moon.
Also, they're going to struggle mightily with the wood CSI here, which again, that was always Trapper's thing. But they're like, well, we're being followed. They want the tension of we're being followed. But then they're like, well, that's that stick. We didn't break that stick. Somebody's been here already. And it's like, yeah, they followed us, but they got here first. So you're following them, is what you're saying.
Oh, they're following us through time. Across time.
Because they're trying to like square the circle of we're being followed, we're being stalked, but we're tracking sign. So if we're tracking sign, then we're not in front, right? Like they never figure that out.
Or these Bigfoot hunters came out during the day, which means they're smarter. The kind of smart you don't normally see in Bigfoot hunting, I guess.
They followed us. They followed us get here first, so we gotta follow them backwards to when they started following us and stop them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's essentially what they determine.
What? You know what we ought to do? Just get the fuck out of here. That's what Buck thinks. Let's just call it a night. We found this stick. That's pretty good. This broken stick. We'll take this to the Smithsonian, get it checked for Bigfoot DNA. If there is none, that means we were being followed. And great night, everybody.
They determined they set out to solve the mystery of A, the Bigfoot, B, the people following them. They don't encounter the Bigfoot. They might not have encountered the people following them. They did determine that's too dangerous. In what scenario could you have achieved either of your goals then? You have made them impossible. They're just impossible right from the jump. So they head back out to find Buck's truck on fire. Holy shit, right? The prop work on this that's astronomical for them to burn a whole brand new truck. Oh wait, no, it's just the brush behind Buck's truck.
They must have said this truck is on fire 15 different ways. And then you just plainly look at it and no, someone put like a puddle of motor oil and lit it on fire 30 feet from the truck. It's
and then
they tried to do this thing where it's like, well, they were in the process of setting it on fire. Right. They had they lit it like a fuse, and the fire was moving toward it. If you wanted to burn a truck, you would just set it on fire. You would just throw something in.
I don't want to get ahead of us again, but like, there's a good reason they wouldn't want to burn the truck. Like the story they're telling it doesn't. Whatever. We'll get to it. You'll see what I mean.
So as they're running up, they hear pops, and they say their first thought is those are gunshots. Oh, gunshots. If they're gunshots, then they're in like a G.I. Joe fight, because they're trundling up real slow. They hear the gunshots. They do not like stop and drop and seek cover. They continue to trundle in the exact same trajectory. So they come up, and it turns out it's not gunshots. It's like firecrackers, or they say it might be shells in the fire. Okay, I'm just saying it's real lucky, since we just saw how they would react to gunshots, and it's to die. It is to be gunned down.
For sure. Because Jeff does try to stomp out the little fire, and then someone screams, "There's firecrackers in there, Jeff." And then Willie tries to raise the stakes by saying, "Careful, there could be 22 shells in there, Buck." Like he specifically picks the tiniest bullet. Like, careful, this could be a very semi deadly trap.
But, and you know, they were never supposed to mention there were firecrackers in there. Like, Jeff was not supposed to come kick out that fire, and Willie was like, "Hey, we put firecrackers in there for the bullet effect. I mean, there could be bullets in there."
And I'm going to point something out that's going to sound obvious after I say it, but like, these people aren't country, because every person who grew up in the country knows the exact line at which firecrackers are dangerous. And going off against your shoe is nowhere near it. Like, we all have a friend missing a couple fingers because he found out you can't make a fist with the firecracker, but you can have one go off in your hand. I'm just saying, maybe I'm crazy, but like, you didn't do this as a kid. You didn't get a bunch of firecrackers and say, "Okay, let's test the limit of firecracker." All right, whatever. It's just me.
Your well-documented madness on this particular occasion. Yes, I tested the limits of firecracker, but not like the limits of my country with firecracker. The limits, like the structural integrity of my house.
Okay, sure.
I did not have friends missing fingers from firecrackers, by the way.
I like one. There's one moment where Buck like acts like his eardrum is shattered because a firecracker goes off. These soft little clowns have only done two things this episode. They drove to a farm and they saw someone throw a pack of firecrackers into a campfire, and they played each of those things like they were on the beaches of Normandy. I swear to Christ, these are the biggest pussies who will ever live. And this is the fiction they're making.
Buck is playing it like they're being shot at.
Yes.
Because he thought the firecrackers were to simulate that they were being shot at, and that they were going to do this bit where the truck's on fire, we're being shot at, but we've got to like go kick out the fire under gunfire. And then somebody was like, oh, those are just firecrackers. And again, you have to leave it all in. Like they took some time to stage this whole thing. They set it all up, that did not discuss how we're going to react to it. It's like, no, it has to be totally organic. It's like, well, okay, that's a little tough if you're trying to do a shared fiction thing.
Yeah, really, absolutely.
In episode 38, I'm explaining to them how improv works.
Maybe they'll get the note. Some of these notes do pass through time.
Yeah, they drift down like little rainbow snowflakes. You just hold out your tongue and, I should discuss my plans with my fellow storytellers. Especially Willie should have got that note to be like, don't say there are firecrackers in there. They fucked that all up for him. So Buck finds a crude note hanging from his trailer hitch that says, "We know you know," but spelled like a Prince song would.
Yeah, little symbol and everything.
You
know, which makes it sound so cute.
You know, you.
If you want me to, you.
I'm just saying,
we can't clear that, Jamie. We got to cut it. I like how everyone agrees. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, huh?
Because they don't know anything. They don't know.
Joke's on them. We don't.
Yeah,
we don't. That's right.
But so Buck says to camera, Buck decides, these idiots know that we're onto them. It's like, yeah, you fucking dumbass. You lost them in the smoke screen during the gravel road chase. Do you remember that? I think during that high-speed pursuit, they're like, I think those gentlemen in front of us know we're following them. As
or
we
after
into their
fireworks.
smoke screen.
I mean,
we've already aired an episode of TV discussing them.
Again, we put them on. We put them, at least their heat signatures and lights, on TV. Captured their image forever and showed it to the nation. Well, theoretically.
Right. It's fun. It's also worth mentioning that these are not consequences. Like if the worst thing that happens to you when your rival gets the drop on you is they leave a cute little note on your truck, I think you're fine. I think you'll be okay. Like, it's not a deadly game of cat and mouse.
We'll see this. This is getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but we'll see this later too, where it's just everything that the rogue team does to them is on a different level of stakes than the Ames team assumes. Like, the rogue team thinks they're in an inter-college prank war. Like, they think,
right.
we're gonna put firecrackers next to your truck. We're gonna write you a little note. And they're like, they've got Huckleberry out there with an assault shotgun. They're like, did you steal my mascot? I'm gonna fucking murder you.
They repeatedly talk about, we're about to get into a gunfight here. We're about to get into an all-out pitched battle. They think they're in like a Hatfield versus McCoy's feud, like it's them or us, where everything that this other team does is just a cute, goofy little taunt. It's just fun. It's just a little prank. They didn't even vandalize his truck. They just lit a fire next to it to kind of make him come running and look silly.
Yeah. If you guys did this to me, I wouldn't even be mad. I would be like, you got me pretty good.
I'm not sure I would know it was a prank. I'd say, you guys lighting off firecrackers? Where do people go that lit off these fun firecrackers?
Looks like this one got a little out of control, but not so bad we can't handle it. Let's continue lighting off firecrackers in the spirit of fun.
This is gonna summon the Bigfoot. They're probably trying to help us out. This will get the Bigfoot running over this way. Because again, remember they're hunting a Bigfoot? I don't know if anyone remembers.
Well, Buck remembers just now. He says, what if they're using us? What if they want to do the same thing to the Grassman as the Stonish Giant? And then he says, the last thing I want is for this Grassman to get shot. You have personally tried to shoot him at least twice. At least twice we've seen you on camera actively trying to shoot him. My God.
This is
You know
going
what
to
they
be
ought
the
to do?
central conflict going forward. Is Buck acting like they have always been the protectors of Bigfoot? They are effectively Bigfoot's personal bodyguards. Like, oh, all right,
Established last episode. 1 episode ago was the first time you established that. And you still are taking assault shotguns in the woods in case he doesn't want your protection. You're going to fucking blow him to pieces. So they
Buck
decide
had
they
an
need to...
idea earlier of going home. And he raises that again. He's like, I wrote the quote down. He says, I ain't even staying up here tonight. I'm heading straight back to West Virginia. Like they're not making a weekend out of this. He's like, fuck it. I'm going home.
I don't even
Good
have
night.
to go to work tomorrow. Like I got the day off. I'm just sleeping.
no, they adjust how far they're going to retreat. Because initially it's like, well, we'll just retreat back to our hotel. It's like, no, we're going to retreat all the way back
Absolutely.
home.
That'll show them. They'll never estimate how far we will retreat.
I'm going back to grade school.
So they got to meet up with Daddy, with Trapper. They got to run back to Daddy for his protection. He's been laid up researching the rogue team and other things endlessly, they say. So right now we would be doing Wild Bill and Willie's Crackhead Trap Shack. Right now we just have to meet up one more time during the day as though we're going to discuss a trap. To really discuss how hurt our feelings are over all of this. It's just, how do you guys feel? Do you even still want to do this? Do you guys even, do you even
It
feel
really
like
does
doing
have
this
that
anymore?
tone where they're just like, guys, we fucking blew it. We went outside for 5 minutes, found some broken sticks.
Like, I'm not. I'm
Ran
embarrassed.
from the state. Like when we heard some firecrackers, we left that whole countryside to be rampaged by Bigfoot.
I know we still have to air this. I know that's in our contract, but we don't have to make yet another episode about it. We can just shift this episode to be about something else, and they do, rightfully so. So Buck thinks essentially the rogue team is using the Ames team as a Judas goat, the goat that they send out to lead them to the other goats for slaughter. So he thinks the evil Bigfoot hunters are using them to track the big feet that they want to kill. And Buck says, I think they got a target on my truck. And I wonder, what does he mean by that? Does he think they have a tracker on the truck, like an air tag or something? No, he means they hate my truck and they want to hurt it.
That's
What
how
means.
I took it too. Yeah.
So he wants
But then
Willie.
he gets the idea they're going to use if they're going to use my truck against us, let's use my truck against them. And that is the end of his idea. So then he says, Willie, you're a trap guy. Got any truck trap ideas? Like to where we can catch these guys? Oh, hold on. I wrote the quote down. To where we can catch these guys. I'm not saying catch them and trap them, but to where we can maybe, I don't know, get them to where we can at least see them.
Like, he forgot what a camera is? He doesn't know the word camera? Like, you've got them pointing at you. Like the image stealers?
Right.
That these image stealers around us, the bad shamans use? Why don't we know the word camera for this? But yeah, he wants Willie to build him a camera trap.
Yeah. Like a banana cam. Put a
by
banana
which-
cam on my truck.
By which he means a camera. So Willie is going to design something. He lays out his specs. It's got to be high enough to position the cameras on all 4 sides and to hide the cameras inside. It's a box.
It's a box.
You won't believe it. Willie is going to build a small wooden box to put cameras in. Like you,
I think the listeners might be confused. I feel like you didn't explain it very well. So, Buck's truck, in order to capture the truck briefings, they have to attach, we think probably 4 or 5 like 4K cameras, because they got the driver view, passenger view, the view of all 3, and they've got like exterior. So his truck is already covered in high definition broadcast quality cameras. What they need Willie to do is build them a thing that will let them put 4 very, very low quality Walmart trail cameras that capture extremely grainy black and white still photos that will actually obscure the view of the high definition video cameras that are already on his truck to film the show. So instead of getting that, they will get the kind of Bigfoot quality photography that is what they want. Because again, anything captured by their TV show cameras does not count. They need a Bigfoot photo, something that's just a dark blur in the trees.
And
That's what they're good at hunting.
and they camouflage it. with
If you're not
box.
picturing this, I'm sure you're picturing exactly what this is. It's just a big box with 4 very conspicuous holes. If you saw this, you would instantly, in 1 second, recognize this as a surveillance device, or you'd assume that the Ames team was inside with their eager mouths on each one of the holes.
I knew that was coming. I was waiting for it. I have it in my notes. Just let Sean do it.
Okay.
Jason, that didn't occur to you?
The holes are like 4 inches in diameter. They don't disguise. You can plainly see the camera lenses
You can see
inside.
the camera. Like you see, oh, what's this? Someone made their own toolbox? Oh no, there's a camera pointing out of that. That's weird.
It's almost too big for a glory hole. It's specifically the kind of glory hole that allows you to put the balls through. Also, like you gotta put the whole package.
Listeners,
Yeah, you get a whole
we are
leg through that glory hole.
25% of the way through my notes for this episode, and we've been recording for an hour. The amazing
And you're
thing that happens in this episode has not happened yet. It's about to happen. We haven't gotten to the thing that makes us want to talk about this episode.
Okay,
You didn't have glory hole in all those notes. It never once occurred to you that Jeff is on the inside, just pants wet with pee-pee, just waiting.
Maybe it's like a Bigfoot glory hole. It's to lure. All right,
does make sense.
We gotta get to Trapper. So they go back to meet with Trapper. It's Buck, Jeff, and Huckleberry, and Buck recaps all of everything they've learned to Trapper. And
Trapper says it was a smart move to give up. I wrote that down.
It was a smart move
You
to
did
give
the right
up
thing to just get the fuck out of there.
because he's
And-
got to show them something.
Well, now hold on. Something I do want to note. For one thing, they do a wide shot of Trapper's giant, beautiful home. It is a
lovely.
large 2-story home with
Very
this
nice.
massive deck on the outside, and then an upstairs deck and like beautiful landscaping. We mentioned before, Trapper did have money from other things. I think he had like oil wells, things like that. I love that for him, that he's like this wealthy man who does not need to be doing this TV show in retirement. He chose this life for himself. But they do meet on the deck. They are not allowed
Nope.
inside the house. So it's like, well,
He
gosh,
didn't even ask his wife. Trapper's like, honey, my friends are good. She's like, I dare you to ask me. I dare you to ask me if Buck can come in the house.
look, if you want a place for your little friends to gather indoors to discuss Bigfoot, then you need to build a facility for that.
Like
He did.
like a Jack Shack. Can I repurpose the old Jack Shack out back?
Just a little conspiracy.
So he takes them. He
maniac
takes them
Jack
off the
Shack.
deck to a secure place to talk. And it's a shack to jack up the rogue team's plans, is what it is. It's a concrete bunker complete with a steel, as they say, a steel vault door with a little secret combination pad and everything, so
the
he can
best.
punch in
It's
a
the
top
best.
secret code, and it makes the beeps. None of them make the beeps. It makes the
No,
perfect
because the
beeps.
person behind you would be able to hear what
To hear
numbers you're entering. You
And
don't want
just
them to
as a
make the
quick
beeps,
note, they
Right.
do film it and let you hear the beep, so you do know the
but all
combination.
of us know what his door code is now. Yes.
So,
This is so adorable. It's like the set designer of a 6th grade play about Bigfoot hunters. Like when they go in, it's just, it's so perfect.
it's so good.
precisely
watched-
what you're imagining.
This episode, because I think some people didn't watch the episode, think we were joking about him having a Bigfoot cave, that we're doing a bit. No, they built a set that is Trapper's Sasquatch bat cave. It is this room with a giant American flag on one wall. On the opposite wall is a gigantic floor to ceiling corkboard with thousands of photos of Bigfeet and maps. And there's the red yarn strung totally at random from
Like
one
a
photo
maniac.
to the next.
100% random. And most of the photos are CGI renderings from the show. Those lusciously thighed, terrible CGIs that we've been looking at every commercial
Okay,
break.
that's the other wall. So his top secret office, he takes us in there. It's got a long, lovely table full of files, like overflowing, like he's been researching there day and night. It's got the classic Maniac's corkboard, but all Bigfoot. It's got one wall that's just all like boxes of files filed about specific big feet. Another wall has all the CGI pictures of their big feet with their names on them, but done mugshot style, like the FBI's most wanted list. So these are his most wanted
fucking best.
big feet. He's got a cooler so he can keep the Coors and the sausages cold. He's got a folder. One of the folders is just named traps. So like a catalog of every box Willie has built. It's collapsed.
I like how he says it's bug free, no Wi-Fi, completely secure. Like rival researchers are going to go through this Bigfoot research. But again, Jason made this point. These research details they are broadcasting on a admittedly very, 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 very lightly watched Destination America Network television show. But like, there's no secrets here.
And the combination to the door.
Yes.
I mentioned that this on social media, that pinned among the hundreds of photos of Bigfeet and witnesses and stuff with all the yarn, they've got a printout of President William Henry Harrison, who Harrison County, Ohio was named after him, and that's where the Stonish giant lived. But believe it or not, in that episode, that was not one of the facts from the truck. Jeff did not mention that Harrison County was named after William Henry Harrison. So I love that independently it turned out that was important somehow.
The best.
To the point that he's got a red piece of yarn struck to President William Henry Harrison. It's fantastic.
I might have lost an hour. Like when you went on Blue Sky and you're like, who the fuck is this? And your followers found them very quickly. And we realized that fact that he put up William Henry Harrison unrelated to anything that's ever been in the show. I must have just held my head in my hands and then I lost an hour of time. I just like was in such like hysterical laughter and shock that.
Okay. All I know about William Henry Harrison is from the Simpsons episode of The Mediocre Presidents, which I've had that song stuck in my head ever since I watched this episode. And it's William Henry Harrison. I died in 30 days. Like, that's the only real notable thing about him is that he took office and he died in a month and was gone. Was that a Bigfoot? Is that the implication? What else could the implication be?
That he was taken out by a Bigfoot.
He was destroyed by a Bigfoot. Otherwise, why is he on the Bigfoot board with a red yarn leading to a Bigfoot? Did he become the Bigfoot? Maybe.
Speaking of red yarn, there's one that it's a card that says Midnight Whistler. And then there's 16 cards surrounding it that just say stuff. Like one says legend, one says traps. And each of the cards are linked red yarn to the center in just sort of like a bike tire.
It's not how you do
It's
that.
nowhere close to anything. It is.
Right.
It's worse than the car chase. It is just a child's idea of something they might have seen in a movie once that they don't quite remember.
So there's on the board. He's got a picture of what I think is a samurai, just a cool samurai. I don't think there's ever been a samurai in the show. There's a sketch of the Thunderdome from Mad Max. There's a note with nice calligraphy done in nice handwriting that just says, thank you. Thank you.
Probably gave a talk at a local Bigfoot school.
From what? From a witness that they say? From Bigfoot himself? Who can say? So he takes them through this and he says, long story short, he says they had his house searched for bugs and they didn't find anything. But they did find something in his truck.
Right.
And he brings it out. It's a little black box, and Buck says, "What is that?" Trapper says, "It's a damn GPS satellite tracker." And then he explains to them what a GPS tracker allows you to do, which is see where things are from space. And every one of them is just like, what the fuck?
It takes 10 minutes just to get them to understand that.
They're so blown away by this is the highest tech. This was filmed in the year 2016 when GPS had been standard on every car for a decade. Buck's truck, I guarantee you, has GPS. Yeah. They're like, what the fuck is that? You can't do that.
Also, why did they have to follow them out to this farm? Not only knew they were scheduled to the farm, but they also were tracking the truck. Why did they have to visually follow them through that wild high-speed smokescreen chase?
And then lose them because they knew they also had that guy's address and appointment book, so they knew when he was. Right. Why do any of this? It's all to paint them as like they're the high-tech team. So they all They all
Wrecked.
gasp and react as though like basic GPS tracking is something only James Bond would have. Like this is a James Bond device from the 1960s.
This is not for suspicious wives.
and Trapper says there's something else, and he pulls out a ransom note. It's a ransom note done in magazine, like the letters cut out from
Adorable.
a magazine, and it says, "Are you ready to chase the devil again?"
Because they knew Trapper would track the handwriting if they wrote it out by hand.
Yeah, they'd match it to the thank you note.
And Jeff says, "That's like a threat right there. That's a threatening letter."
Kinda.
You can
It
take that
might
to
be
the
a
police,
puzzle.
and they will say we're taking this very seriously and ask
Yes.
you to leave. I know. Buck immediately just goes, "The Cherokee Devil."
Yeah.
Just immediately knows that must be referring to a Bigfoot. He says that's
But it
not
does
all.
have the picture of the old red shed in
Yes.
there. And
Where?
Buck starts to cry because that's
Because
where he
that's
got
what-
groped
that's
by
a
that
reveal.
Bigfoot and his child bride.
Yeah.
It's like that's not what all was in the envelope, guys. And he like pulls this out the way you would like show a terminal illness result to a patient if you were a doctor. It's like, oh my god,
it's that red shed where
It's that
the
wax
Cherokee
shack.
Devil put me in timeout. And I had to just
Okay,
sit
now
and think
I
about
want-
what I did.
Think about everything we said, and then 5 more minutes of discussion go by, and then after all that, Buck says, "Oh, no way. No way. Are you ready to chase the devil again? They're talking about the Cherokee Devil."
and it turns out they are. He was right twice. The first
He
time
was.
and the second time after he forgot he was right the first time. So they think like, "Oh, that's where they want us to go. This is clearly a trap." And Buck says, "Trapper, what do you want us to do?" And Trapper just turns to him and goes, "I think you should go up there. I think you should walk right into
Sure.
that trap, boys." So first,
Do it.
the two times he's appeared was to give them the Ravenmocker powwow assignment to get them all canceled. Dress up in Native American costumes, paint your faces.
Yeah.
And now he wants them to walk into a certain trap. Like he wants the team destroyed. Now that I'm starting to think he didn't leave, he was pushed out like Joe Biden. Like he's Biden post like just fine then. I'm gonna take this whole fucking thing down with me. So Buck, Huckleberry, and Jeff are mulling all of this over on the truck ride back, and it's a little thing, but Buck says, "Y'all notice how none of us have said a word in a solid hour?" Yeah, I mean, thank God you're not filming a TV show or something.
Right.
Just Colt on the radio going, "Say something! Say something! What are you doing?" So it's because they're all just like, they've all got so much to think about. They're all just scarred by like all the revelations that have just occurred. And sure enough, they are going back to North Carolina. They're going right into the trap. So we cut to the next night investigation, part 2. They're in North Carolina going after the Cherokee Devil. They completely abandoned the Grassman hunt after establishing he's ready to kill. He's
He's
things have
out
done
there just kicking over compost piles.
nothing but
Nobody can
escalate
stop
since
him.
the last time we were here. It's a matter of hours before somebody is seriously hurt. Let's get the fuck out of here.
I
don't
like
want
how
to be
they
out-
also got spooked out of the woods like they're raccoons. Like the rogue team's like, let's just make a bunch of little noise in this area. And they're like, oh, get out of here.
leave the state.
I can't. They're all just sitting there like, "Oh, I thought that was the start of like our psychological warfare. I was not prepared for them to just run away. Like, what
we've
are
got
we
the
going to
voodoo
do?"
dolls of the team over there that didn't even see those.
Yeah.
We've got
We built the ironic man trap for Willie.
Yep.
Like I so that he could look at it and go, "Finally, I knew this is how I was going to die." Like what? This
They
ruined
abandoned
our
that
whole
D&D
night.
campaign so fast. There's a quote here from Huckleberry that I want to share. He says, if that other team thinks they're going to get us in that shed and ambush us, they're going to find out why I'm barred from 3 states and 2 county fairs. Now, I wrote this down because I thought it was too cute. I normally like when Huckleberry tries to be cute, but this was like a Big Bang Theory joke, not a Mountain Monsters joke. And so I have some notes, I guess. I think he should have said something like, "We know these grounds you can't ambush a hillbilly. What's been to a child bride shed 2 times?" Like, I just want to send that note back in time to Huckleberry that's what we're expecting from you. I'm just reading what it says in my notes.
Because he's once again out there, not only with his assault shotgun, but with like an assault rifle. So he's brought an arsenal with him when he's saying this. So the implication is that's why I'm banned from 3 states and 2 county fairs for my shooting rampages there.
Yes. Yeah.
For the times that I shot up state and county fairs 5 times.
On his back, he has his Rock Island VR-60 tactical shotgun. Now he is carrying what looks to me like a Daniel Defense M4A1 AR-15 style rifle. That is a $2,500 gun. Also has the holographic sights on it. He now has like $3,000 worth of assault rifles. He did not give one to another member of the team. He has one on his back. He's carrying the other. So it's like a video game situation. If he can switch guns, one runs out and he can just immediately...
Yeah, if you're playing Huckleberry, you just hit triangle to switch between your primary and secondary weapons. And you hold it down to switch to power weapons, which have not been revealed yet. So Jeff has his little overall ham pocket shotgun revolver sticking out. So you know he's in battle mode. And I just...
Mm-hmm. When he has no ham in the pocket, but a gun in the pocket... Fucking ready for action.
But do you ever think he gets confused and pulls the ham on somebody?
100%. That guy's eating so many pistol sandwiches.
puts the gun in his mouth. It tastes like ham. You can't blame me. Sometimes I just like to suckle on it. Get that ham flavor. Thus armed, they head out into the woods where they find more bent trees. As we've established, all trees and branches are Bigfoot sign. And Buck says, "He's still here, guys. The Bigfoot that actually grabbed me is still right here." He is active, right? I've always said this is my favorite thing, is that Buck keeps saying, "Bigfoot grabbed me." He's actively trying to make it his catchphrase. Like, this is the 4th time he said it in almost as many episodes. Bigfoot grabbed me. Every episode.
They play a
and
clip
here you're going to
of...
start to get the clip show element of this, of all of this season finale, because they're going to start to reminisce on the last time they were here.
Yeah.
And of course, this is where, for those who don't know, this is the infamous nude Huckleberry fight scene.
We get to relive that.
He even says, "I never did find my good drawers," and Buck, in a way too serious tone, says, "Well, maybe you'll find him tonight." Like, well, I don't know if I want him back now. I've been here for like 2 years. I don't.
Mary's like, they weren't a metaphor for my courage. It was like a joke.
Right.
Don't have a touching
really perked
moment
up during
with me.
that time, though. The clip that I liked was they found the totem pole. They showed the clip of them fighting the totem pole, a form of art I have since learned was not a part of Cherokee culture. And then, of course, they play the mind-controlled Huckleberry getting nude, which I have since learned is not the terrible Bigfoot sexual assault that haunts him. Again, I'm just reading what it says in my notes.
Yeah, he's cool with that one. That one was for kicks, I guess. Suddenly, a noise behind them causes them to all shriek like Scooby-Doo characters and spin around, except for Jeff, who straight up falls over like a fainting goat. Like
he
his
just
legs locked
sits
and
down to panic. He's just like, "I have an idea, guys."
Huckleberry even turns back and is like, "You're going to have to get to your feet, Jeff."
And Buck is just clutching his shotgun to his chest. Like, Huckleberry's all action. He's like acquiring targets, and Buck is just...
So this is where they find a broken branch down low, but not up high. And then they go through it. See, down low, that's where a man would pass through and break the branch.
No, you gotta start from the beginning. What?
The one up high. The one up high would be broken, whereas down low it's human sign. High Bigfoot sign, down low human sign. Both broken? Bigfoot and human working together. Worst nightmare.
Yeah. That's a human riding a Bigfoot like a backpack.
They need trapper training. He's just gotta fucking offer a master class or something. Buck's gotta take it or stop trying this.
Because it's in the top 10 most embarrassing things when when non-trappers are trying to like CSI the forest.
Because Buck is going to find his exact footprints from the last time they were there, from 2 years ago. He's like, look, see that? That's where I was standing when I saw the Cherokee Devil. And he starts crying at the memory.
It's all choked up.
Did we already get past how the Bigfoot threw a tree at him? Because they get over that so fast. They're like, a Bigfoot just threw a tree. And then it's just like, they're completely onto something else.
Yeah, they're just it's happened so much. I don't think there's time for them to dwell on it anymore. Like, it's just rote. Huckleberry spots a light in the forest, so they all turn their lights off. And Buck says, "That could be the Cherokee Devil. If you see red eyes, don't look." One problem with that, Buck. I'll let you puzzle it out for a while.
I'll allow it. I think you could see the red eyes and then quickly look at something else. But that being said, these guys are like, when a tree falls, they're stunned for 7 rounds. So I don't think these guys are like, I don't think they have high saving throws. Is my point.
Knocked prone. Must use a week's worth of actions to return to a standing position in Jeff's case.
I do like when they find, they keep pointing at like stupid little broken branch in the tree as if with just so much certainty that the rogue Bigfoot team did it. Like, it's not just a human, but it's these specific humans. I don't know. I wrote down it's like finding a penny and saying, "Holy shit, American Gladiator Malibu was here in 1989. I don't know what it means, but I wrote it down. And I don't know if that'll help you explain my frustration with them deciding this broken stick is the work of 4 very specific men, but I think that's stupid.
For those people who did not see the last episode, this whack shack we're referring to is not an abandoned structure. It has electric lights. It's a structure somebody used.
Somebody owns it. It's just somebody's.
So people do go out there. It's just it's behind somebody's house.
Yeah. You need the lights to whack at night. Like you can't, there's no glow in the dark pornography. There should be.
And then Buck again finds another spot that he remembers standing and says, "Oh, this is where I saw that little Cherokee girl." And I just imagine everybody else in the crew like,
God damn it.
And so he got to cut to a flashback of Buck. In that last episode, they do like a sepia tone to imply that this is flashback, which is hilarious because current day it's in that infrared, which is black and white. So it's like, It's also black and white, but it's like brown a little bit to imply that this is
just a little. Yeah.
This is black and this is old timey footage from 18 months ago or whenever it was. And it's him like screaming, "Look, it was that little Indian girl. Where'd she go?" Again, emphasizing that Bigfoot's bride, not just married to a human woman, but married to a small child. It's so important to Buck that be emphasized again and again.
Who died from reasons you can infer, but should not say aloud.
Yes, died as a child. We must be clear. She did not live to be an adult.
Yes,
she did not survive her marriage to Bigfoot as a child, as a small child.
But is now stuck reliving that moment forever.
He could not protect her from his own rage.
We cut back from that flashback.
Buck is crying, by the way. Buck sees the shed and is crying.
No, he is
wrong.
vomiting. He is vomiting in fear
in horror.
He
of
does
the
that
friendly
as well.
ghost who saved him and that he left to a fate of eternal Bigfoot molestation. That's what
To be clear, this is a squad of monster killers, and they're retreating from a noise, and they've now stopped to cry and vomit. I don't know if you could be as bad at anything as these guys are.
So there's only one thing left to do, and that's to head into the Cherokee Devil's ancient child bride Jack Shack. Shouldn't do that. And then they find the wall lined with files with each of their names on them, including Buck's name. Buck's real name. And Buck says, "How do they know my real name?" It's on IMDb, Buck.
It is. Like, they just went on the internet. More importantly, how did they get all those papers in there without stopping to cry and puke? How did they get in that spooky shed without crying and puking? What kind of Bigfoot hunters are they? That they could walk into the spooky shed without crying and puking?
Bigfoot's child bride just standing there in the corner like, "Don't redecorate. Don't put shit up in my house. Come on." I just like, it's not only on IMDb, it is in the end credits of this show. And it always has been.
Listeners, literally seconds after Buck says the words, "How do they know my real name?" on the screen flashes cast: John Tice, Jacob Lowe, Joe Lott, Willie McLennan, Jeff Headley, William Neff.
It's almost like an Arrested Development joke. How do they know my real name? Cut to credits. Your real name appears right there. It's
so funny.
It could not be more possibly undermined. I don't know how they throughout their history, first they had to invent way after way after way of losing to cryptids that can't appear on camera. So they've had to invent new humiliations to fetishize over and over again. And then they invented, a new team, and then they started inventing like scenarios that could end with them being humiliated. They've gone so esoteric as to end on a humiliation by their own credits. Like, that's how meta we've gotten with our humiliation fetish, that now the punchline to embarrass you is the credits to your own show. That's some incredible fourth wall comedy.
Yeah.
A show where the final credit is always, no wildlife was hunted, trapped, or harmed in any way in the making of this program. Like, already they were getting punked by their own credits every week.
And they found a new way to up the stakes on getting punked by their own credits. It's incredible. God, what an incredible episode. And it's got nothing on the next one. Fuck. It's so good. It's so good. They're finding new ways to escalate. But that's the end of this one. So let's go with our favorite quotes. Sean.
Okay, mine comes from when they're being tailed. And Huckleberry gets the idea to just play it cool. Like, don't just drive casual, look casual. And then he says, "We're just driving down the road, not a care in the world, going after the Grassman." just play it chill like you're hunting a 1,000-pound monster.
Just like you're hunting a Bigfoot, just like always. Don't let them know. Don't act suspicious like you're doing something unusual. Not a care in the world. Footloose and fancy free.
Except
the 1,000-pound Bigfoot. Again? All right. I'll go next. I'll go with mine. Mine is when they first find Trapper's Bigfoot bunker. Buck says, "You walk into someone's basement and it looks like that, 9 times out of 10, they're a serial killer." And I guess the 10th, they're a Bigfoot lunatic.
right.
All right, Jason.
Mine is not something that is spoken, but when they come back from commercial, when they unveil Trapper's headquarters, and they always have the location tag at the bottom of the screen to tell us where they are. And it comes back from the commercial and says, "Trapper's Bigfoot Cave."
It does the state too, doesn't it?
I don't know that there's a more beautiful 3-word phrase in the English language than Trapper's Bigfoot Cave.
Because you have to be a Bigfoot, didn't you? You have to open up your mouth. You had to be a Bigfoot, didn't you? All your friends were so knocked out. You had to have the last word last night. You know what everything's about. You had to have the white hot spotlight. You had to be a Bigfoot last night. Whoa, whoa.